Billionaire bride hears groom's shocking betrayal just few minutes before wedding. What she did next will shock you. It was Elena's wedding day. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. But she never knew the worst is about to happen. Smiling softly, Elena picked up the edges of her dress and stepped out of her room to surprise Ben, her husband-to-be. She tiptoed across the hall, holding the bouquet tight. But just as she reached Ben's door, just before her hand touched the doorknob, she froze. His voice, laughing on the phone, she leaned in, curious. But what she heard next shattered everything inside her. She'll die soon. The pill will shut her down shortly after the vows. It doesn't matter. Once she's gone, everything she owns will be ours. Just make sure she takes one more pill before the ceremony and two more after. Elena's blood turned cold. She stood frozen, the smile gone from her lips. Her heart pounded like a drum in her ears. Tears welled up instantly, smearing her freshly done makeup. Then the voice continued. Hope you've worn your bridesmaid dress. Ben chuckled on the phone. Elena's knees buckled. One of my bridesmaids. Her breath hitched. Ben and one of her closest friend is plotting to kill her. The bouquet dropped from her hand. She clutched her mouth to stop a scream and stumbled back, her heels clicking softly on the polished floor as she turned and ran. Her gown flowed behind her like a ghost fleeing danger. She didn't know where to go. Her mind was spinning. Her father, her stepmother, they were the only people she trusted now. They were staying just downstairs. If something happened to her, they needed to know the truth. Elena rushed down the staircase, nearly tripping over her dress. Her vision was getting blurry. The lights around her flickering. Her chest tightened. Whoa, not now. Not yet. She bit her lip, forcing her body to keep moving. Stay alive, Elena. Just a little longer. By the time she reached the door to her father's room, her legs were barely holding her up. She pushed it open with shaking hands. She gasped out, stumbling forward. Her father and stepmother were sitting, talking quietly. They jumped up the moment she fell into the room, her gown sprawling out across the carpet like a broken flower. My daughter, what's wrong? Her father cried, grabbing her shoulders. What happened? They want to kill me. Elena whispered, her voice cracking. Who? Who wants to kill you? It's. Her lips trembled. Then silence. Her body went limp in their arms. Elena, her father yelled, shaking her gently. Wake up. What's happening? She didn't answer. Help. Somebody help us. His voice thundered through the hallway, echoing off the marble walls. Doors flew open. Footsteps hurried down the corridor, but Elena lay there still, her breath shallow, her face pale, and upstairs behind a closed door. Ben kept laughing. Screams echoed through the hallway. People rushed from every corner of the hotel. Ben was the first to show up, his face full of fake panic. My love, what happened to my bride? He shouted, pushing through the crowd as if desperate. He dropped to his knees beside her, holding Elena's lifeless hand. Please don't do this, he cried out, his voice trembling. You promised to grow old with me. Tears spilled down his cheeks. But they weren't real. Deep inside, Ben's heart wasn't broken. It was celebrating. The plan was working. The bridesmaids gathered at the doorway, some covering their mouths, others wiping tears. No one suspected anything. Not yet. The hallway was chaos. People were shouting, crying, gasping. The sound of rushing footsteps echoed off the hotel walls like thunder. Two men gently lifted Elena off the floor. Her wedding gown, once glowing with joy, now dragged along the ground like a sheet of sorrow. Her bouquet had been trampled, her makeup was gone, her skin pale and cold. Ben pushed through the crowd, acting like a heartbroken groom. Please be careful with her, he cried out, pretending to be terrified. He slid into the back seat of the waiting car, cradling her head on his lap. His hands trembled, but not from fear, from excitement. His mask of sorrow was perfect, but inside his heart was dancing. The driver took off fast. Behind them, the The sound of screeching tires filled the air as Elena's father, stepmother, uncles, and several guests followed in their cars. The line of vehicles stretched through the city like a moving funeral procession, flashing lights, honking horns, and panicked hearts. Inside the car, Ben looked down at her lifeless body. His lips pressed together as if grieving. But then, slowly, he reached into his pocket. He unlocked his phone, tucked a message. "Congratulations to us. She's gone." He hit send, then leaned back, a soft smile curling at the corners of his mouth. As the car turned into the hospital gate, he quickly wiped the grin off his face. At the hospital entrance, doctors and nurses were already waiting with a stretcher. As they opened the door, Ben jumped out and shouted, "She's not breathing. Please help her." Elena was rushed inside, her arms limp, her chest barely rising under the weight of the white dress. "Please, please save her," her stepmother begged, running alongside the stretcher. She was sobbing loudly, her voice breaking. "Don't let anything happen to my daughter." Inside the emergency room doors, Elena disappeared behind white curtains, surrounded by nurses, machines, and flashing lights. Her father stood frozen. He didn't speak. His face was pale, his lips pressed tight. His fists clenched at his sides. Tears filled his eyes, but none fell. Michael sat down in the waiting area, hands on his head, rocking slowly. He looked like a man drowning in sorrow. But if you looked close, you'd see the tiniest trace of a smirk each time he glanced at the hallway clock. Minutes passed, then hours. Every second felt like a year. Guests huddled in groups. Some prayed, some whispered, some just stared at the double doors, hoping they would open. Finally they did. A doctor stepped out, his white coat stained with panic and sweat. His eyes said everything before his lips even moved. Her stepmother rushed forward. "How is she? Doctor, please talk to me. Is she alive?" The doctor paused, looked at everyone's faces, hopeful, scared, broken. "She's alive," he said at last. "But her condition is very, very critical. We're doing everything we can. Her heart is weak. Her breathing is slow." He looked straight into her stepmother's eyes. "Please pray for her. That's all we can do now." Her stepmother covered her face with both hands and collapsed into a nearby chair, crying loudly. "Oh God, don't take my child not like this." Her father turned away, hiding his face against the wall, shoulders shaking silently. And Ben lowered his head and let a single tear drop onto his palm. Fake like everything else. But no one saw the small message notification that lit up on his phone screen seconds later. "Job well done. We'll talk soon." He smiled again, just for a moment, then went back to playing the broken man who had lost the love of his life. Inside the cold, quiet emergency room, Elena lay still on a hospital bed. Her body was surrounded by machines, wires on her chest, a needle in her arm, an oxygen mask over her face. The heart monitor beeped slowly, each sound echoing like a countdown. Nurses whispered. Doctors watched, but Elena didn't move. Not even a blink. Minutes turned to hours. And then a twitch. Her fingers jerked just a little. A nurse gasped. "She's waking up." Everyone rushed to her side. One nurse reached for the phone to call the family, but just then Elena opened her eyes. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Her lips parted dry and cracked.